Saving money is an easy and responsible way to make sure you always have something to fall back on. It's important to have a goal for your savings, but some things we spend money on just make it difficult to have a little extra to save. The best decision you could make is to save before you spend because some expenses will leave you broke. Number 10. Kids' extracurriculars. If you've ever gone shopping with kids, then you know that they can pester you till they get the things they want. They have no sense of shame and will cry and wail, throw items all over the place, and cause a scene. The situation doesn't get better when you are home. They will interrupt your favorite shows or fake a hunger strike till you appease their wants. Young children don't usually understand the concept of money, especially if you haven't taught them. If all their friends are joining the soccer team, they will want to join too. Never mind that you'll have to pay for the sports gear and out-of-school trips. Your children may also demand the latest items and the biggest party on the block. Of course, as a loving parent, you want to give your child the best and allow them to enjoy life as much as you can. But you have to learn to say no. They can have the biggest party for their graduation. If they want the coolest shoes, they should save up for them. Your child doesn't have to be on every team, especially if they are high maintenance. You should teach your children about money as early as you can. Number 9. Gifts. Some people consider gifts as their love language. Not just receiving gifts, but giving them. According to various sources, gifts cost the average American over $600 annually. There's no problem with giving gifts. It shows your appreciation and helps you celebrate with your friends and family. But you need to consider if you need to be gifting on every occasion. Do you really need to get your significant other a 3-week anniversary gift or the 100-day anniversary gift? Pace yourself and only spend on the big ones. You also don't need to attend every event if you can't afford it. Bridal showers, engagement parties, weddings, housewarmings, baby showers, gender reveals, first day at work, last day at work, retirement parties, and so on. Saying no doesn't make you a bad friend. It makes you a wise person. Being social doesn't have to be so expensive, and your friends should treasure your presence over items. There are so many events we love to celebrate, and you can choose which ones to show up for. You should also consider narrowing your social circle. You don't need to turn up for a party of an acquaintance you've only known for 3 days if you can't afford it. This way, you will be sure to save money. Number 8. Items on sale. Sales are tempting. You hear your favorite store is having a sale, and you are out the door as quick as lightning. It's easy to think that buying items on sale is a sure way to help you save money. They only help you save money if you go shopping in moderation. If you show up for every sale at every store, every day of the week, you are not exactly saving. It's also easy to shop outside your list and impulsively when you get to a sale. You'll see a nice lamp with 75% off and take it because you never know when you'll come across such a nice piece again. That's money you could have saved. You might use that mindset to get more items, which will eat into your money. Even if you hadn't planned on shopping for a while, coming across a sale might have you changing your mind. You need to exercise some self-control. If you can, browse online for the items you want so that you take the exact amount of money you will need to spend. Number 7. Guilty pleasures. We all have terrible habits we are trying to shake. If someone tries to tell you they don't, they are probably lying. If we don't keep these habits under control, we might have to deal with an addiction that eats deeply into all the money we could have saved. This addiction doesn't only mean extreme bad habits like smoking, alcohol consumption, or gambling. It could be your favorite chocolate brand, your go-to restaurant, video games, shopping, and other things that tempt you into giving up your last dollars. Because it's something that brings you joy, you can't think rationally about it. That's how you end up spending your last $50 with the misleading idea that tomorrow will take care of itself. Rather than spending aimlessly where these are concerned, set a budget and keep to it. Plan to eat out once every 2 weeks. Buy a new game once a month. Put yourself on a shopping ban. You don't have to be a slave to your desires. However, some of these guilty pleasures are detrimental to our health, and it's just better to give them up. Number 6. Streaming subscriptions. TV and other video media are great ways to de-stress after a long day. Beyond that, they are also a great social factor. Some relationships have been formed due to a common love for a show, so the role entertainment plays in our lives is not to be underestimated. But like everything else, we need to be smarter about our entertainment options. Streaming subscriptions are convenient. You pay some dollars and gain access to a large range of choices. There are so many streaming platforms available as well: Netflix, Disney+, HBO Max, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and so many others. They all offer great shows that you might enjoy, and paying for these will cost you over $120 a month. You could have saved a lot more if you chose one. Pick the one you watch the most and stick to that one. Some people leave their subscriptions running without consuming the product. Review your subscriptions often. If you haven't watched a platform in months, go ahead and unsubscribe. Number 5. Repairs. Dealing with something faulty can be taxing, financially, mentally, and time-wise. It's even worse because you can never predict when something will stop working. We have grown so accustomed to the convenience technology affords us. We practically fall apart when some of our things stop working. How do we communicate without our phones? How do we wash without machines? Or how do we get entertainment without the TV? To gain back that comfort requires parting with money for repairs. Repairs always seem cheaper than buying a new item completely. However, the amount you spend on repairs can snowball into an amount far above what you would have thought. A $50 every other week for your washing machine will translate into plenty of hundreds by the end of the year. Of course, this doesn't count for every item. For some, you will only have to repair them once, but if your machine keeps breaking down, then consider getting a new one. Number 4. Snacks and takeout. Food is important. It is energy to the body and also great for your overall health. That is, if you are taking it in the recommended proportions and at the right time. Otherwise, it will just turn into fat, and too much fat is bad for your health. Too many snacks are also not recommended. They come with an outrageous amount of sugar, additives, and calories. Aside from the health aspect, snacks also make sure you don't have any money saved. It might look like only $10 a day, but by the end of 2 weeks, you are over $100. You don't need to pick a snack whenever you enter a store. You can train your body to expect food at particular times, not to go into overdrive when you see a pack of chips on the aisle. The same goes for takeout. Most of the food ordered as takeout is unhealthy when taken in large proportions. Fried chicken, fries, and pizza. It might save you from having to cook, but you pay the cost with your money and probably several trips to the doctor. Take everything in moderation so that you have something left over to save. Number 3. Cars. Having a car is a dream for most people. It allows you to travel at your own pace. It's something to brag about to your friends and will allow you to get to all the places you need to go. What no one ever prepares for are the costs that come with owning a car. With fuel prices what they are globally, having a car is more of a liability than an asset at the moment. But it's not just because of what the economy is like at the moment. Cars are expensive all the time, even more so if you are getting them firsthand. They speed off with your money when you have to consider insurance, payments, maintenance, and so many other costs that come with a car. Insurance costs about $1,050 on average. Unfortunately, cars depreciate as soon as they are off the lot, so you can't expect to get much for them when you're done. Consider using public transportation if your city has a great system in place. Go biking or walk to various places if they are close. Think of carpooling with your friends. You don't need to be a 2-car or 3-car household if you can help it. When you go car shopping, get a second-hand car. Number 2. Banking and credit. No one expects that the things they get to help them with their finances can actually hurt their finances. You might be losing more with every transaction you run with your bank. Look at your banking fees and try to avoid overdraft fees. When you decide to use the ATM, take out larger amounts so that you're not frequenting it whenever you are low on cash. You should also browse for a bank with a reasonable interest rate before you take out a loan. Swiping a credit card is easy, but paying it off, along with the interest, can be a nightmare. It doesn't help to pay off the minimum balance on those cards. The average American has about $5,000 in credit card debt. To stay out of debt, try as much as possible to pay in cash or put a limit on your card so that you are spending only what you can pay for. Avoiding reading your bank statements is like an ostrich burying its head in the ground. The trouble doesn't go away because you don't face it. In fact, it might escalate. So look at your statements and make a plan to help your financial situation. Call in experts if you need to. Before we get into number 1, make sure to check out the links in the description for our best recommendations to boost your savings. Number 1. Emergencies. Emergencies plunge into your savings account like a bomb. If you don't have an emergency fund, then you will never save money because every little bit will have to go to dealing with an emergency. But life is unpredictable, and no one can tell you how to sidestep emergencies. You could get into an accident, get terrible news from the doctor, have a death in the family, or just have to deal with a natural disaster like floods or an earthquake. None of this is exactly your doing, but you will still have to deal with them as best you can, and that usually requires money. Before you assess the damage, it is hard to tell how much it will cost. What looks like a $1,000 restoration could end up in tens of thousands. Of course, emergencies don't have to be that drastic. Sometimes it could simply be getting something to eat because you forgot to cook. The best way to deal with emergencies is to have an emergency fund. Save up to about 6 months' worth of living expenses. If you don't have to live in fear of the next bad call, you will be able to focus your energy on saving. It also helps if you have a goal for your savings so that you are not tempted to divert the money to whatever comes up.